$1.6 billion. Tony Hsieh personally is worth about $850 million. And he recently, in 2011, took $350 million of his own money and he poured it into the decrepit, crime-infested, rundown downtown part of Las Vegas. And his motivation for starting this actually came from trying to find a corporate campus for Zappos, right? And he toured a lot of campuses and said, wow, I don't want to build like my own private amusement park like Google or Facebook did. I sort of want to build one that is sort of connected with the rest of the city. And he's taking from like NYU and some of these like New York college models of saying building like a city campus where he is actually investing a lot of the money in actually the small local businesses. So this is Container Park, right? Container Park features a bunch of containers that also double as low rent small business innovation units. So it's very cheap for you to rent a small piece of container and set up your own shop. You can set up fashion, set up clothes. And next to it is a giant praying mantis that Tony Hsieh purchased from Burning Man. It has 2 giant flamethrowers on top of his head and spouts out flames at night. He also has created a rideshare program. And the rideshare program consists of a bunch of Teslas and some electric vehicles. So he's literally building like a new city, right, in the middle of an old city. And because he has money and capital, like he's able to sort of play to his heart's imagination, right? He's able to create a community out of thin air and then broadcast the ideas of the community so effectively and so compellingly that I'm here, of my own personal bias, telling you about this thing. Right? And saying that if you haven't had a chance to go, you should definitely go to see this place. So what if we're not Tony Hsieh, what if we're not Jeff Bezos, right? What can we do? Well, we can start smaller, right? If you take for truth the idea that you are the 5 people you hang out with most, which I think is a very fundamental and powerful idea, then you should be really carefully curating the type of people you hang out with, the type of news you interact with, and the things that you allow to influence you in your thinking, right? And there's a startup here by one of the 2 fellows called Campus. We recently started a campus house in Palo Alto because we believe in these ideas. Because we said that one, the information that you have surrounding you is fundamentally important in how your life is going to progress. And 2, what is the most economically efficient way to actually surround yourself with intelligent, high-quality people so that you actually have a better chance of understanding the world and then executing against that understanding. So this is not an advertisement for Campus, right? This is just an example that Campus happens to be a fantastic, Campus helps do all the logistics headaches of actually setting up a co-op house. And our house actually has 2 open spots left. So if you're interested in finding a place to live in Palo Alto, talk to me afterwards. So general takeaway. 1, I hope that you appreciate the importance of information, the importance of measuring the information that you're taking in. 2, I hope you have an appreciation of the deepness and the richness of history. Right? All of us today, instead of looking for the latest boom to bust cycle of a tech startup, can gain a lot in terms of business acumen, also understanding the human and technology relationship by looking at examples of history. And finally, if these ideas are interesting to you, then here are 4 suggested reading things that I think really powerfully shape how I think about the world, and hopefully will be some use to you guys. The first is this fantastic, long piece article on Forbes called Entrepreneurs Are New Labor. It's written by one of the smartest, I call him a philosopher, social scientist, right? And he has a blog that has a whole bunch of other amazing stuff in it, but once you find the Forbes article, you can go over it. The second is the Silicon Valley startup. Everyone who started thinking about doing a startup right now, you have to first read this thing, and then you have to answer the question, how am I going to be different from whatever just got discussed in this article? Because if you don't have a good answer to that, then you're going to be working extremely hard for the next 3 years, and then discovering that 1, no one wants to buy you, and 2, that you don't have any money left. 3, if you want to build a valuable technology company like Clever or like Kensho, Formation H, which is a new VC firm set up a few years ago, has a series of essays on what it thinks is the correct way to discover business problems. And it's really good reading. And 4, if you want appreciation of the deepness of history and how information empires change over time, the Master Switch, right, is where I drew most of the content I had for Bell. So with that, thank you all.